Hello guys, just wanted to make a quick little video after watching the Swansea Blackburn game. Just want to give you a quick little match analysis of the second half from the 50th minute all the way to the 94th minute, or 95th shall I say, with the added time. Now I just want you to notice something here at this moment in time. So Blackburn are 1-0 down, and that is obviously the score in the end. Now I want to show you the positioning. So right now Blackburn are in the Swansea half. Swansea at this moment in time are really irrelevant purely because they're winning, so they're going to do whatever they need to do to defend. On the other hand, though, with Blackburn, if you look at their players' postures here, so for example, because I've got a few different a few different screenshots, so bear with me. Now, as you can see, we've got a defender right here. Okay, no worries. Now, first and foremost, these two players shouldn't be that close anyway. But most importantly, when this player has the ball, he tries to find the two men in the middle. But as you can see, this guy is too busy fixing his socks. Okay, and obviously this guy here is literally just taking a walk. Now at this moment in time, and then also if you look at the player over here, including the player over here, again, too close. Obviously he's here to spread them out wide, which is fine. He's there to spread them out wide, which is fine. This isn't as much of a big deal per se, but what really needs to happen here is that this young man here needs to drag the ball, will dribble the ball around about this area here itself in particular. Once he gets to this area, we should have this player in this position, and then therefore this player itself in particular should still be around here. The reason why I say this is because that is then going to split up these three players, because if he moves over here, that means the player who's facing him has to slightly move forward. He's not going to commit because again they're defending and he's defending space, but he's going to push forward around here. He's then going to make a gap for this player to come into this position here, which then allows this player to have two options at this moment in time. One, either pass back over here, or two, pass to the player here. Now at the same time though, because he's pushed this person forward, he could then do a quick pass to this player here, and then we go there, he will then move over here. That is something that should be happening stuff in particular, but I didn't see that, which is so frustrating. Now moving on to the next screenshot itself in particular, as you can see here, we have the same type of similar situation. Now what's happened is that these players here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, they've all rushed forward. But as you can see, they're now trying to go back, because what's happened is that each time they have the ball, for some bizarre reason, everyone feels like it's okay to run all the way and then be in line with the last defenders, ready for the through ball, high through ball, should I say, if anything, which isn't really a good creative plan, because the fact is Swansea are going to have as many players back possible, so it's always going to be very hard to break them down in that kind of way. So when you look at the players here itself in particular, you got this player here calling for the ball, or he's giving instructions, just one of the two. Now he could get the ball, he could pass to him, but the problem is he can see him anyway, and he's very close. By the time he gets the ball, what we need is for this player right here, or if there is a wing back here somewhere, or you know, whatever. What we do need is for one of them to be there, so therefore he can provide the ball to the person that's going to be on the left mid, okay, or left back position. Ideally, I would say have to be this player here, but really and truly, what we need at this moment in time, or what Blackburn should have done, instead of just pumping everyone all forward as if they're playing FIFA and they're all out and they're playing all out attack, which is so frustrating. What should have happened, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, is that at this moment in time, I feel like this player himself in particular should might as well bring the ball back and start from the beginning, because if he brings the ball back, it's going to force the Swansea players to follow him too. And also it's going to give time for the rest of the players to reposition themselves. But the problem is though, would 1, 2, and 3 really reposition themselves? There's a possibility they probably won't. If he was to play it back, all that's going to happen is that the centre back's probably going to move back with them. Maybe one of the centre midfield players, give or take, and obviously the wing backs, and that's about it. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But if you play it back, you really need someone to control in that middle. That person that drags in at least 2 of these players with them. So therefore, when the players who are wide, they have more time on the ball, because what happens is when these 2 players here, if let's say for example, he dribbles the ball back. Okay, back into his own half. He follows, and maybe the left back follows, and then potentially maybe he follows, right? What we then need is for this player here to move into this position. Now, how this player moves in this position, these 3 right, actually, in fact, these 4 right here, okay, they would all then be in different positions at that moment in time, okay, which therefore creates a space for them to which therefore creates a space within the middle, because once you get this player and the other player on the other side to stretch out the middle, they're so spread out that there's going to be a gap in the middle for this young man to get the ball, potentially dribble, and potentially go for a shot from outside the box, or maybe even feeding the striker or feeding the other winger on the right or left side. Now, moving on to the next screenshot of stuff in particular, ladies and gentlemen, and it's so sad because it doesn't get any better. Now, as you can see right here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Swansea player, and obviously you got some more off the screen here, okay, that wasn't a part of the screenshot. Now, at that moment in time, look at the Blackburn players, look at where they are. There's so much space between them. It's just ridiculous because really and truly, this player himself in particular, he should have realistically been here a long time ago, okay? And to be fair, as long as he's onside, he's fine where he is, to be honest with you, because if the through ball is correct, then he's gonna have time to go with it down the wing. But how do you make the pass effective? If this young man here drags into this position here, around here somewhere, it means the defender over here or here, one of them two are going to be keeping an eye on him, and therefore they're going to want to obviously go and mark his space, which therefore creates a space for the pass down the wing here. Or if you want to, because there's basically no one supporting him, the only thing that he could ever do is basically switch the play to the other flank or just pass backwards and restart the game. But this is the thing though, bear in mind, Blackburn were losing 1-0 at this moment in time. Their urgency was just not cutting it. Blackburn should have been doing a far better job in terms of really being creative, because they were just doing the same old crap. It was so frustrating to watch. Now, you know, and then now let's have a look here. So now we're in a position where this player here has had no choice but to realistically shoot. And the reason why he's had no choice but to shoot is because, as you can see, you got one who's already offside by the looks of it, unless this young man here is keeping him on. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 players in that box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, defenders in there, and probably maybe a bit more off the screen as well. Now, at this moment in time, he's got options. He can either pass to here, but by the time he passes to number 8, number 7 is already onto him. Or he can make the longer pass to 29, but 29 is walking in the direction as if he's not ready for the ball. So really and truly, by the time he takes the touch, depending on his agility and alertness, maybe he has enough time to do the same thing he's about to do here, and that's to shoot. And then you got this player here. This really frustrates me. I hate seeing 2 players in the same position, especially in professional football. Me, myself in particular, I'm a qualified coach, and when I see this happen with my own team, yeah, yeah, it's not looking good. Yeah, that's all I can say for that. So really and truly, at this moment in time here, you have got the player on the wing, he's fine, but if anything, he's got a choice to potentially drag down here. Now, of course, he's not going to see him, which is fine, but the idea is, how do you spread out these defenders? You're not going to spread out these 6 defenders inside the box. Is that 7 actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's actually 7. 8 if you want to count him too. So that's basically their whole squad in the freaking box, pretty much, nonetheless. Now, obviously, his job is to try to get his attention. So yes, he can spread out there, which would be completely fine. He's okay where he's at, and he's okay where he's at. But what you really need at this moment in time is that you need this player to be somewhere else. At this moment in time, I mean, I couldn't even tell you where he needs to be, but that's not where he needs to be. Or at least he doesn't need to be there too, because having 2 players in the same place, it makes no sense. And this is the core thing. Whenever a team is defending, remember, Swansea are 18th. I'm not too sure if they moved up now since this win, but they were 18th before this game. And at this moment in time, Swansea will obviously defend as much as they can. But what you need to do is, when you're playing against a defensive team that brings everyone back, you need your attacking players, midfield players, to spread them out somewhere to obviously overcomplicate the situation for them. But clearly, as you can see, these guys, apart from 1, 2, 3, who I say are kind of in a spread out position, what we really need, if anything, at this moment in time, is probably for number 8 to push back a little bit more, and then maybe one of these 2 he can then push into this position here. Okay, so therefore, what happens is, at this moment in time, if we've got number 8 over here, and then he's over here, what happens is he's got a choice to pass to the number 8, or he's got a choice to pass to this young man who should be here, and then he's got an opportunity to pass it back or pass it here. And the reason why I say this, because what happens is that if you've got defenders in there not marking anyone, trust me when I tell you, defenders therefore don't know what to do themselves. So therefore they're left thinking, okay, so what am I marking? And most of the time they hesitate. So you remove one of these players out of the box. Trust me when I tell you, it will change the dynamic of this defensive play, because realistically, the defensive play here isn't really great. I mean, honestly, he looks like, yeah, let's just wait for whatever happens, you know what I mean? And he's completely gone out of position, because if you look at him, he's seen the shot, so he's neglected the 2 people there. So think about it. if he's already out here somewhere, you got 3 options. That means you have 1, 2, 3, and then if he's here too, you got 3 or 4 options of players who can shoot or can pass each other. And then in the box, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 players in the box as also options to get the ball on a rebound or anything else. And also on top of that, if Blackburn lose the ball at this moment in time, the fact that you'd have an extra man around here, it means when it comes to retrieving the ball on Swansea's counter attack, you already have more men ready to defend the ball. Doing this puts the defense in danger. Now moving forward again, as you can see, same thing, but this is a different angle. I mean, same thing, but obviously later on in the game. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 of their players here. Now, obviously, he's okay, but he's fairly wide, so he's not too bad. I mean, I'd probably push him a bit wider out only because he's so close, but he's not really the problem. He's not the problem neither, to be honest with you, and really truly, he's not the problem either. Now, at this moment in time, okay, here's the thing, the grand scheme of thing is, the way they're positioned now really isn't that much of a big deal. But the problem is that you see this play here, obviously in a second he's going to pass to the person on the left. And the problem that I have with this play is that they done this play literally for the last 8 to maybe, the last 5 to 8 minutes of the game. And they kept pinging it and pinging it and pinging it and pinging it and pinging it. But the fact is though, they were never clinical enough. So what happens is the defenders already know what you're doing. And because it's not working, you therefore have to change your positioning. And that's something that they didn't do and that they didn't do. Now, if you look at this angle stuff in particular, this is later on in the game. They've done the same thing again, same position again. Difference is he's a bit closer now, but they were doing the same thing over again and again. But in this situation itself in particular, this young man, if you look at him here now, there is a point where, oh, actually, hold on, I must have lost that screenshot. So if I go back a step here, now when this ball goes in, he does actually get the ball and he shoots, but unlucky for him, it goes over the bar. Now, obviously, as you can see, this is the last screenshot itself in particular, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in the box, okay? 3 of them, I don't know why they're so close together. And I tell you why, actually, I do know why. It's because, you see, where they're seeing so many defenders inside the box, they think it's wise to overload their attack. But the problem is, though, if the ball goes here, and no one is there and the keeper saves it, luckily the ball is going in this direction. Now, this young man does get a shot, but it actually goes wide. But let me tell you something real quick. If you got a herd of flipping, a whole stampede of defenders inside a marking area, okay, inside the box, okay, what you don't want is all your players to go, well, some of your players to go in there and basically go in for the bait. What you need these players to do is actually separate. This young man here should have been at the edge of the box, okay? These two can stay where they are, to be fair, because that's okay, but he should have been at the edge of the box because it means what happens, oh, my apologies, sorry, it was actually this guy that took the shot, my apologies. At this moment in time, because he was in a decent position, he's crossed the ball into him, he's taken a shot, sadly, it's gone over the bar. But change the scenario though. Shift him all the way over here. If he's in this position here, that means one of these defenders here are going to follow him here, give or take. And if they don't follow him, that's fine because it means the person that's crossing has got 2 options. Option number 1 and then option number 2 as long as he is there. But instead of doing that, he's over there. And it's really not effective. The moral of the story and the moral I'm trying to say here, ladies and gentlemen, with my analysis is that Blackburn lost this game because they lack creativity. I know it sounds so cliche and so obvious to say, but I had to point out what I was noticing from the game that they needed to do better. I kind of wish this video was a bit shorter, but hey, man, when you get passionate, you get passionate. But the fact is, though, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to these guys here, they were repeating the same player again and again and again. Lack of creativity, didn't want to change their style. And to be honest, if I was the manager, I'd be completely fuming. And if anything, the manager himself and his coaching team need to obviously sort that out because at the end of the day, I can tell you this now, if Blackburn do get promoted to the Premier League, next season, that will be them in this position where they are defending like crazy like this to survive the season. Because usually when teams get promoted to the Premier League, this is how they end up playing. They play exactly how Swansea is playing now, which is quite interesting because you'd think teams that are used to defending as if like there's no tomorrow would also know how to attack a team that can defend as if there's no tomorrow, if that makes any sense. But nonetheless, though, thank you for your time. Hope you liked it. Peace.